Hi, it's Chris. In today's video, we're going to be talking about some of the most common issues you may be facing with your refrigerator. So we're going to be looking at fridge not getting cold, everything in the refrigerator is freezing, and frost in the freezer. So let's diagnose your issue. The first symptom we're going to talk about is fridge not cold enough. For a refrigerator to work properly, you need to have airflow. You need to have circulation from your cold evaporator in through your different compartments. So the first thing we're going to look at is the evaporator fan motor. So the evaporator fan motor is going to be right here alongside your evaporator. And its sole purpose is to move the cold air from the freezer section into the fridge section. So though I want to look to make sure that that fan motor is turning fine, it's nice and free and smooth. As well, I'm going to check that fan blade to make sure it's not loose or broken. So the next thing we'll be looking at is the airflow dampener. We want to see where the air is actually being moved through from one compartment to the other, and that dampener opens and closes. So if it's not opening properly, we're not going to get the proper airflow. And that's something you may have to take a look at. So the last thing we'll check are the condenser coils. We want to see how much of a dirt buildup is on those, because dirt buildup is going to restrict air movement, and once that does, we start losing efficiency. So the second symptom we want to talk about is everything in the refrigerator is freezing. Now we're talking about temperature. So the first thing we're going to look at is the temperature control. It may be set too high, which basically means the thermostat is going to keep that machine running and it's going to keep dropping the temperature and you're going to get everything freezing. And the final thing we're going to look at is the door gasket. We want to take a look at and make sure that the door gaskets are sealing tight. If you've got a gasket that's leaking a little bit, that fridge is going to be running and running and running to try and compensate, and you're going to wind up with product freezing. So our third symptom is frost in the freezer. So the first thing we're going to check is to look at the product that's in there to see if it's too much or it's wet. If it's overfilled, you're going to get a problem with the way that the air moves through. And if that happens, then you're going to wind up with a lot of moist air starting to show up as frost in that freezer compartment. So the last thing we're going to check for frost in the freezer is if your machine happens to have a dispenser for ice and water, we're going to be taking a look at the dampener door where the ice comes out. There's a little flapper in there that sometimes may not seal properly. If that happens, you're going to wind up with warm air coming up through and giving you significant frost buildup in the freezer section. We hope that the issues we covered today help you diagnose your refrigerator. If you're having an issue other than the ones we've discussed, please put it in the comments section. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you next time.